Hey guys and gals, welcome back to week 2 of your anatomy work for distance learning. All right, so based on the learning check last week, we're going to have a little bit of a review this week. So first of all, last week we looked at the structure of a neuron. Neurons have very specific structures that are unique compared to other cells, and these cell structures are going to have unique functions that are going to allow for action potentials, and that's the focus of this week will be the action potentials. So now that you've learned the structures, we're going to apply that to their function. So we need to go back over that diagram from last time. We had a couple little hiccups when people were submitting theirs with having some incorrect answers. So letter A there is pointing to the cell body or the soma. B is pointing to the nucleus. The whole point of having that separate is to indicate that it is in fact a cell, even though it doesn't look like any cell you've seen before. Letter C is pointing to the dendrites where the signal comes into the neuron. D is pointing to the axon that travels down the rest of the length of the neuron. Letter E is pointing to the myelin sheath, the fatty cover. F is pointing to the gap in the myelin, which is the node of Ranvier. Letter G is pointing to a nucleus of a cell. The cells that make the myelin are Schwann cells. And finally, letter H, we're looking at the axon terminals. Some of you put synapse, and that's completely acceptable as well. So the purpose of this week's instruction is to analyze the role of those different structures of a neuron and the role that they play in the function of the neuron during an action potential. Okay, so in the folder for the task to complete this week, the first thing that you'll see is a cell review specific to neurons. If you're in AP Bio, you probably don't need to go through the cell review, but these are just parts of a cell that you might remember from bio, you might not, looking at the sodium potassium pump, as well as looking at like what vesicles are, how they work, and things like that. So again, if you're in AP Bio, you probably don't need to take a look at that, but if you're not in AP Bio and it's been a while since you had bio, it's definitely worth taking a look at. It's a Word document, just reviews a couple quick things. Next up, you have an action potential tutorial. You're going to go to a couple websites, take a look at different parts of an action potential, answer some questions. Then the next thing is the video notes and supplementary videos. So I made a PowerPoint into a video that hopefully explains it. But if you're like, oh, Miss Saxton, I don't get this, it's silly, and it doesn't make any sense, please feel free to use the supplementary videos that I have provided. And then the final thing is the part that you're turning in, that's the learning check. That'll look a lot like last week's, where you're just answering some questions and labeling a diagram. Hope you have a great week. If you have any questions, you can email me, contact me through Remind, send me a message through It's Learning, or feel free to come to the office hour drop-in video chat session on Thursday from 12 to 3. Hope to see you there. Bye, folks.